Hello there, are you all snuggled up and ready for a story? Tonight's tale is from a long, long time ago, from a special book called the Bible. It's about a king named Ahaz. Now, King Ahaz lived in a beautiful land called Judah, and he was the 12th king to sit on the throne. Many years before him, there was a very good and brave king named David. King David loved God with all his heart and always tried to do the right thing. He would sing songs to God and listen very carefully to what God wanted him to do, which made his kingdom strong and happy. But when Ahaz became king, he was very different. It was as if he had forgotten all about the wonderful stories of King David. He didn't want to follow God. Instead, Ahaz looked around at the other lands and saw all their shiny statues and strange gods made of wood and strange gods made of stone. He thought they looked very interesting and powerful. So instead of praying to the one true God who had always looked after his people, Ahaz decided he wanted to worship these idols instead. He started to make choices that were not good at all, leading his heart far, far away from the right path. The king started to do some very sad things. He built special tables called altars all over the land, but not for God. These altars were for the pretend gods he had decided to follow. He would burn special smelly incense on them, thinking it would make these idols happy. The saddest thing of all was that he even made his own little boy walk through a fire as a sacrifice, which was a terrible thing that made God very, very sad. King Ahaz was teaching all his people to forget about God and to make bad choices, just like him. He truly filled the whole kingdom with these new, false ways of worship. Imagine if you went for a walk and on every street corner, on every high hill, and under every big green tree, there was a little altar to a pretend god. That's what it was like in Judah when Ahaz was the king. He thought that by doing all of this, he would become a strong and mighty ruler. But he was very wrong. Forgetting about God wasn't making his kingdom stronger at all. It was making it weaker and sadder every single day. Because King Ahaz had turned his back on God, terrible troubles began to bubble up all over his kingdom. It was like when you forget to water a little plant and its leaves start to droop and turn brown. The kingdom of Judah started to droop. Kings from other lands, like Syria, Israel, saw that Judah was no longer strong and protected. So they gathered their big armies and marched right up to the walls of Jerusalem, the main city where King Ahaz lived. The army from Israel was especially successful in one big battle. They captured 200,000 people. They took women, boys, girls, and gathered up all their lovely things to carry back to their own city, Samaria. As the victorious army of Israel marched their prisoners back towards their city, a very wise and good man came out to meet them. His name was Obed. He was a prophet, a special messenger for God. He stood in front of the whole army and spoke with a brave, loud voice. The army leaders listened. They realized he spoke the truth. They gave warm clothes to those shivering. They gave shoes to those with bare, sore feet. They found gentle ointment for cuts and scrapes. They gave the captives plenty of food and water to drink. For those too weak to walk, they placed them gently on donkeys. They carefully led everyone back home to Jericho. You might think that after seeing all this trouble, King Ahaz would have learned his lesson. But he didn't. His heart was still very stubborn. Instead of asking God for help, he came up with a new plan. He decided to ask a different, very powerful king for help. This was the king of a faraway land called Assyria. Ahaz thought that if he could get this big, strong king on his side, all his problems would be solved for good. To get the king of Assyria's attention, Ahaz did something else that was very wrong. He went into the beautiful temple of God, the most special place in the whole kingdom, and took out all the gold and silver treasures. He even took treasures from his own palace. He packed it all up and sent it as a giant, expensive present to the Assyrian king. He sent a message saying, "Please come and rescue me from my enemies." He was trying to buy a friend instead of trusting in God, who offers his help for free. Well, the king of Assyria was very happy to receive all the gold and silver. He agreed to help, but not in the way Ahaz had hoped. The Assyrian king came with his massive army. Instead of making things better, asking Assyria for help just brought more trouble and worry to the land of Judah. His clever plan had backfired completely. Even after his plan with the king of Assyria failed so badly, King Ahaz still did not turn back to God. In fact, he became even more unfaithful. He traveled to see the king of Assyria in a city called Damascus, and while he was there, he saw a big fancy altar. He went to God's beautiful temple, the one that King Solomon had built so many years ago, and he shut the big doors. He locked them tight. He didn't want anyone to go inside to worship God anymore. Then he took all the special furniture and sacred items from inside the temple, the beautiful lamps, the special tables, and he smashed them into pieces. He was trying to erase God from his kingdom completely. After shutting down God's house, he went and built even more altars to his idols. He put them on every single street corner in Jerusalem and in every town throughout the land of Judah. King Ahaz ruled for 16 years, and for all that time he kept making these sad, wrong choices. And so when he died, the people did not bury him in the special tombs where all the good kings of Judah were laid to rest. His story, even though he is an ancestor of Jesus, reminds us how important it is to keep our hearts open to God. And as you get ready to rest, remember that you are always loved and watched over. May your heart be filled with peace and comfort tonight. Good night, little one. May you have the sweetest dreams under the gentle stars.